Destiny might actually be going to prison for this one. All right, everyone's favorite libtard streamer, while his wife is not hanging out with her boyfriend, he is holding down the fort, destroying conservatives online by making believe he doesn't understand what words mean, like unprecedented. Have you heard? There's an unprecedented amount of immigration into England. Technically, everything is unprecedented because it never happened before. All right, dude. Now, I thought that he hit rock bottom when he was getting sued by, like, his ex for allegedly recording her sexually without consent and sharing it around the internet as, like, revenge P-word, as they say. But damn, this honestly might be even worse.
Versus...
Well, because I think they kind of are, right?
Destiny is asked by his lead moderator, why are we making things up in order to jail our political opponents?
What?
That might... the fact that that question even needs to be asked. Excuse me, what?
Why do you think that we need...
It's like you have people on the left that are just like actually domestic terrorists running around like coordinated, attacking law enforcement, stopping law enforcement from doing their job, beating them up, throwing bricks at them, attacking and vandalizing their vehicles. And it's like, oh my God, that's just freedom of speech. And then the same left is like, the principled left is going to sit there and be like, we have to make things up to arrest our political opponents now. Classic, am I right? They just love democracy so much.
To like make stuff up.
Destiny responds, because technically what they're doing is not illegal, therefore we have to make something up.
No. I don't believe this. He's not going to say that.
Like, why can't we just use
They do it because most of what they're doing probably isn't.
Have to.
Most of what they're doing, no, we do, because most of what they're doing is, strictly speaking, probably not illegal.
It's over. It's over. This dude is out here calling for the jailing of conservatives constantly. Said Trump needs to go to jail, needs to get impeached. Kind of laughed that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Made jokes that the Trump shooter missed. Laughed at the firefighter that was killed when Trump was almost assassinated. Yelling and screaming about January 6th to this day. And bro doesn't even actually think that the right did anything legally wrong after all of that grandstanding.
Meets the legal standard, you should be able to prosecute it. If you can't prosecute it,
I can't believe this is real.
Fabricate
and he's
evidence.
just gonna like I mean I always kind of assume that a lot of leftists didn't actually believe in the shit that they preach. They just kind of preach it because they want to destroy you and control you, right? They don't actually believe that throwing rocks at police officers is freedom of speech. They're just annoying and they use words to destroy and control and deceive, right? They're like demons, you know, like from Freerun. Don't get me wrong, I believe that, but I didn't know that they would admit it.
What you're about to see is Destiny make the argument for why it is necessary to fabricate investigations in order to dig until we can find something to jail these people for. In the meantime, his audience is calling for their hanging. You can't make this up. You have to see it to believe it.
So if we wanted to do something similar to what they do with Hunter Biden, we would have to act in a way that is not in adherence with the good faith, that is not with good faith adherence to the law.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. He's admitting this. He is admitting that he wants to break the law to jail political opponents. Excuse me, what?
They admit what we're doing is not a good faith adherence to the law, for sure, but it's necessary. Where have we seen this go wrong in history?
Sure, but the reason that they had to do that with Hunter Biden is because Hunter Biden didn't do anything wrong, whereas they are doing things that are wrong.
Like what?
So we don't need to fabricate something. Defying the court orders, doing things.
You can't arrest somebody or subpoena somebody for defying a court order. That's up to the court.
No one's even. The funny thing is, people aren't even really defying court orders. This is another lie. It's a lie on top of the lie. First of all, not all the court orders are valid. Second of all, they're not even violating the court orders. They do something, and the court tells them to stop, and then for the most part, they stop or try to get it appealed. All right, this is insane.
Court to enforce.
And this is Destiny's argument here. He's making the claim. Well, no, Trump and the conservatives in power, they're not breaking any laws.
If we're using a violation of a court order to go on a fishing expedition, that's not a good faith adherence to
calls it a fishing expedition.
The law, which is what you're saying we should do, which I agree we should do, but that's not a good faith adherence to the law. I don't want.
I'm in shock. I can't believe he's doing this. I can't believe he's admitting this. I mean, I could totally believe that he would do this. I just can't believe he would admit this. That's the big difference. See, I never really had any faith in the left, but this is shocking.
Congress to normally go on fishing expeditions for everybody because they happen to violate a court order or something.
But that's what you're calling for here. And I find this really illuminating, the fact that his lead moderator is trying to articulate to Destiny, you are taking this farther than your opponents are.
Like, you're taking things even further than they're taking them. I think that we can just take them to the steps that they're taking it, and that's far enough. Like, why do we need to go even further? Like, why do we need to jail people?
Because it turns out the left is actually the fascist movement, and the right is not. It actually turns out that whatever Biden was doing under COVID is the most fascist shit in the universe. The fact that they literally crowned Kamala Harris as their nominee instead of actually having an election, like, that is the most authoritarian shit you could possibly think of, literally ever. All right. Suppression of speech. Hello? Facebook admitted that they were not allowed to promote any form of counter narrative to the COVID story. Zuckerberg admitted that Biden forced them to do that, which is the most unbelievable thing in the world. Still to this day, I think it should have been considered one of the biggest scandals in history.
People without bringing up a trial versus.
Because I think they kind of are, right? For all of the immigration stuff.
Oh
what
my
happens
God,
when we
dude.
break down to this.
Oh my God. Well, I don't actually think immigration is a problem. So therefore, when Trump does the Alien Enemies Act, I don't think it's good faith. So therefore, I don't even be good faith. So therefore, I'm going to try to jail them for things that they didn't even break those laws. This is the leftoid mind, man. Zero morals. It's actually crazy to witness. Again, it's what I've been saying the entire time, but it's still shocking to see.
Team mentality of it's us versus them. They're doing this thing, therefore we should do this thing. Like, I'm not on a team here. I don't want to see.
I'm on a team. I want to see the left destroyed. It is inherently an evil, satanic movement, and without a single policy that adheres to morality. All right, I want to see the left destroyed.
Nonsensical investigations in an effort to have opponents thrown into prison.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I don't want like these fishing expeditions and stuff. I just want to see the left destroyed. Absolutely.
I mean, what could go wrong with this strategy?
Yeah, but the immigration stuff is a little bit harder. That's like an immigration law thing that we're doing incorrectly, other than the U.S. citizen part. Which,
Yeah, but there's
which is
well, they
wrong.
are doing it with some U.S. citizens, which is the issue. But like what you're saying again is like the issue. We're going to
They're
loop
not deporting any U.S. citizens.
on this. We're just going to fundamentally disagree, and that you think that like they're
Dude, not a single U.S. citizen was deported. That's literally just fake news. That's actually just not true.
adhering to a rule set that I don't think that they're adhering to, and I think that they
I never
violated
said
this.
that they're adhering to.
Yeah, but like what you just said was like playing within the confines of what they've stretched, right? So you're like, why would we arrest people without charges? I'm like, well, they kind of already are related to immigration. It's like, well, that's a different thing. It's always going to be a different thing.
They propose finding some nonsensical legislative purpose to initiate the investigation.
I mean, are we really surprised they called Trump a 34-count felon for like fucking bullshit nothing burger reasons? Like they did everything they could to stop Trump. I don't see them holding back to destroy us the moment they come into power. And I think they're evil, quite literally.
And then dig until they can fabricate something.
But you can that's the thing, is that the Congress has broad authority to subpoena people. Basically, all you have to say is that you're subpoenaing them over a legislative purpose. So your legislative purpose could be like, oh, well, we're wondering if there should be this thing put into law that DHS can't do this, this, and this. So we're going to subpoena Kristi Noem, everybody that's all underneath them. And then they can basically do whatever they want after that because the legislative purpose is met.
We can use that as a pretense to throw them in jail. That is the logic here. If I'm wrong, show me where.
Well, sure, but then you are doing the Hunter Biden thing to them, right? Which was my position. So I don't know what we disagree on.
So
And when he describes
Wow.
the Hunter Biden thing, that's what he's describing. Fabricating investigations to lock these people up. That's crazy.
Which
But-
I don't even think was the case by Hunter Biden, but not even the point, not even relevant right now.
you're not, but they are doing things that are wrong. Whereas that's where, like, I feel like you are trying to figure out what we need to do out of the bounds of what the norm
Well, but what
is,
you're
and that
talking about
is
would
a
be
norm.
wrong. That's not a norm. The norm is not to fabricate. What you're talking about is, I keep using this term pretextual. If we're using a violation of a court order to go on a fishing expedition,
He even calls it a
That's
fishing
crazy.
expedition.
That's shocking.
That person cited a bunch of things as
Like, this is the most self-aware, demonic shit I've ever seen in my life.
if the Trump administration is doing this thing already, but they're kind of not. It's kind of in the way that the Trump administration says Democrats have been doing this for years, when they really haven't. So I
we
feel
should do
like
it.
you're kind of
And I was on trigonometry yesterday. I was trying to explain this to them, but it's one of those things you have to see to believe.
it is very serious that everything that's happening, but we also it should be very serious that we're not talking about hurting people, no matter how much we hate them.
Sure.
So
I don't even know. Sure. Says the guy who celebrated the Trump assassination attempt and Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Right here, notice Destiny.
Sure.
Wait a minute. Violence
Not hurting them. What do you mean?
might be necessary. We might need a little violence.
I mean, bro, you call ICE agents Nazis for 4 years and you don't think they're going to try to do a Nuremberg trials the moment they come into power? I think you're delusional. I think you people don't understand how evil our opponents are. I think a lot of you think they're just like libtards and stupid and dumb and naive, and their dumb, naive bullshit is going to destroy us. But quite literally, I think that they are evil. And I think it's very obvious that they're evil when you see literally what they pray to, all right, what they preach. Literally, they violate the 10 Commandments. It's policy, all right? Woke, the LGBT movement violates the 7 deadly sins. I'm not even exaggerating. When I say that it's satanic, I actually mean that it's satanic. I'm not using it as like a pejorative or whatever. All right, are you serious here? Like you see what they did to Trump. They jailed him. They tried to jail him. They tried to kill him. They tried to do everything in their power. They tried to rig elections. And yes, it's a fact that elections were rigged. I don't know if he would have won 2020 or not, but objectively, there was election fraud. That's an objective fact. And the reason why they don't want this Save America Act is because they desperately want more election fraud. Obama worked with the CIA to invent this whole fake Russia hoax to make it look like he was working for the Russians. Now they're pushing that he's working for Israel. They'll always push something else. The Epstein files, which, let's remind you, Trump told the FBI on Epstein in 2008. He got Epstein arrested in 2019. He literally released the Epstein files in 2025. Where were the Epstein files under Biden? They didn't exist. Now everyone's calling Trump a pedophile. Like, do you understand the level of evil we're dealing with? This isn't a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. I'm really glad that Destiny's admitting that they are willing to, in my opinion, what he's saying is break the law and make up evidence to arrest conservatives. I don't really think that there's any, that's not me putting words in his mouth. That's exactly what he's saying, in my opinion.
But don't say without violence at all, because like the current administration is like fully engaged in violent activities on a daily basis.
What violent activities is the current administration involved in? Killing terrorists in Iran that are trying to kill us? Or is it arresting illegal aliens that broke into our country illegally?
Basis against us and other countries, and they thrive in it. They love it. They revel in it.
Okay. So conservatives revel.
That's right. That's right. Donald Trump killed a terrorist in Iran. Now we have to kill conservatives. This is Destiny's point.
In violence. He's literally going to argue because what is happening in Iran. What does that have to do with me? How am I reveling in violence?
If you listen to more than the Jesse Water clips, like the whole point is that like people romanticize the concept of civil war violence too much.
According to Destiny, it's the conservatives who are romanticizing the idea of civil war.
But like, it's happening.
I mean, conservatives acknowledge that Democrats started the last civil war and lost. Let's just put the conservatives acknowledge that the Democrats are the Civil War types.
Constantly on the right, while their administration is enacting violence against us.
Who is us?
Us?
Their administration.
Illegal aliens? First of all, it's our administration. We are a democracy, or a whatever, constitutional republic, whatever you want to call it. We have a president. It's not doing violence against you. It's doing violence against illegal invaders that fight back. All right, all these guys could self-deport. They refuse to self-deport. Then I think Trump should do anything in his power to get them out. And yeah, that includes violence if they put up a fight. Absolutely. That's not violence against you. That's literally just maintaining our national sovereignty.
Is enacting violence against us. I mean, this is a foolish game to play.
And then we're supposed to take like an uber principled stance on everything, which I agree we should.
Principled stance? He thinks that making up evidence means an unprincipled stance. Anything other than making up evidence to jail your opponents is principled, according to this guy.
Should do, but like there's going to be a breaking point on that. And I don't know. I mean, like, wait, I don't support violence.
Stances.
Notice how he says it. I mean, I don't support violence, but you clearly.
But if there was a transgender furry in my audience that murders Donald Trump, I wouldn't exactly condemn him. That's what he's trying to say.
Really think there is a need for it here. So don't claim that it's them that are romanticizing violence.
That maybe we shouldn't.
We should exhaust every. Yeah, I agree with that, and we should exhaust every other avenue first. And I don't think we've even come close to that.
He couches this by claiming, well, we should exhaust all other options. Sure, we should get to exhausting all those other options so that we
Let's get to the violence stage really quickly.
can get to the violence.
But we need to, like, we're past due to start working on exhausting those other avenues. And just because of the construction of the way that the left works right now is just not, it's not there. Yeah.
The left just isn't efficient enough to be able to exhaust all those options so that we can get to the good stuff.
The
This
motivation
is psychotic.
on the left to engage, like in polite society, good faith or whatever, That's a really, 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 really hard sell.
And he thinks it's just too big
Engaging in good faith is just such a hard sell. And then they say that I'm being too hard on leftists.
of an ask to ask for the left to be reasonable or to engage in polite
Exactly.
society. These are his exact words. You can't make this up.
Like, understandably so. Like, I'll do my job to message a little bit less radically to people. Like I said, I don't think I want like a fucking shooter coming out of my community.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad
I don't think I want a shooter coming from my community. Wow.
I'm glad you said that.
But like, you can get radicalized by the other side as well. And keep in mind, the entire right, like the
Bro, are we serious right now? Are we still doing the other side is radicalizing people shtick? Hello, like, what are we even doing, man? Like, we have so much violence coming from the left in this country, and very minimal violence coming from the right. Realistically, if you want to be honest for even like a half a second, every single assassination attempt or violence against law enforcement, it's all coming from the left. Like, I'm not even trying to be, but January 6th, there was a guy that broke a window. All right, dude, a Fed broke a window and now you're losing your mind. Like, chill the fuck out, man. This is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity.
The reason right now why, I guess apparently 160 schoolgirls died in some Iranian school. The reason
Oh my god, dude, are we serious? Collateral damage in war? That's the right being violent? My guy, Obama dropped 26,000 drone strikes. And we have no idea who he dropped those bombs on, all right? Congress wasn't briefed or anything. No one has any idea what's going on.
and why that
Like, are we
happened
serious?
is because people on the right 11 years ago got triggered by people with pronouns in their Twitter bios.
Yes, correct. Iranian schoolgirls are dying because of trans people. True. It's the trans people's fault, actually.
Because I'm concerned about men and women's spaces.
No, Warren, you're going the wrong way. The reason why I'm concerned about their pronouns is because they're retarded and they come up with this pronoun shtick, so it's their fault. You're looking at this the wrong way. Actually, it's all their fault for having these stupid pronouns. So it's the transgenders people that killed the Iranian schoolgirls.
The ability for a man to decide tomorrow he's a woman and gain legal access to women's spaces. Because I care about that 11 years ago, what happens in Iran tomorrow is my fault. This logic is crazy.
It's not logic. It's absolutely not logic. It's emotion. That is how the left operates. It doesn't operate on logic. It operates on this this feely bullshit crap shit. And the reality is, who do you think is whispering in the ear of leftists to become these emotion-driven satanic machines?
I don't think that people understand how radicalized people are getting. Like, I've had conversations with people that say like that the only way that this is going to be better is if people hang and shit.
And this is coming.
Are we even surprised they celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk? Again, they celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Quite literally, one of the most heinous atrocities. All right, innocent man, a father, gets murdered by a leftist. Okay, in front of his family. The entire left celebrates and takes that opportunity to slander his name. It's one of the most diabolical things I've ever witnessed, and I will never ever forget it.
Coming from Destiny's lead moderator.
Unbelievable, dude. What a fucking nightmare. Holy shit. Yeah. And then people are mad at me when I say that the left is evil. People are mad. Oh, why are you generalizing? I don't know, man. Well, I've said this before. I've said this in my response to Shoe on Head when she called me out, all right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. You show me one leftist policy that isn't satanic and I'll change my mind. Fucking diabolical. Holy shit.